This is even more remarkable given that Vaticanus was not copied from P75. Both manuscripts share an even earlier common ancestor. In fact, New Testament scholar Craig Evans has recently shown that the original text of the New Testament may have survived much longer than we think. He writes the following: autographs and first copies may well have remained in circulation until the end of the 2nd century, even the beginning of the 3rd century. The longevity of these manuscripts in effect forms a bridge linking the 1st century autographs and first copies to the great codices via the early papyrus copies we possess. This shows that the first centuries of Christian history were not textual black holes, but that the original documents of the New Testament survived for a long period of time on their own, and then survived even longer through multiple, independent lines of transmission through the copying process. And finally, along with the manuscript evidence, we also have the testimony of the Church Fathers, who glorify God by teaching and commenting on the Bible, on Scripture. Even though the biblical manuscripts they consulted no longer exist, the wording of those manuscripts has survived in the form of quotations in the Fathers' commentaries on Scripture. Bart Ehrman even admitted that this is a resource for textual critics because, as he and co-author Bruce Metzger said, so extensive are these citations that if all other sources for our knowledge of the text of the New Testament were destroyed, they would be sufficient alone for the reconstruction of practically the entire New Testament. This comes from an academic book that Ehrman co-authored with conservative scholar Bruce Metzger, and I don't know if Ehrman still holds this view. What's frustrating about Bart Ehrman is that in his popular level works like Misquoting Jesus, he sows seeds of doubt with broad statements that make the Bible seem like it was lost to history. But in his academic works, he presents much more nuanced arguments that aren't as sensational. William Lane Craig also notes this problem and makes a distinction between good Bart Ehrman the scholar and bad Bart Ehrman the popular anti-religious apologist.